CNBC-TV18, embarking on a quarter century of excellence.
Hello and welcome to this special broadcast on CNBC-TV18 as we take flight into our 25th year. I'm Shereen Bhan. But for Akasa, it's been a little over a year since it began operations. Since then, the company has grown its fleet to 20 aircraft, which does make it eligible to fly to international destinations. Akasa is also working on an aggressive growth strategy, which includes inducting 72 ultra-modern, brand-new Boeing 737 MAX aircraft over a period of 5 years. 18 of these aircraft are expected to be inducted in 2024 itself. Akasa today has a market share of over 4.2%, but it hasn't been all clear skies and sunny weather. Earlier in 2023, the airline faced a bit of a crisis when around 40 of its pilots resigned. Akasa's air on-time performance fell to 74% in September from over 80% in the previous month. The company has now managed to navigate its way out of the situation. To talk more about Akasa's flight path, I'm joined by the founder and CEO, Vinay Dube. Vinay, many thanks for joining us. As I said, we're taking flight into our 25th year. Akasa has finished a little over a year since its operations started. Let me start by asking you to sum up 2023 for us, because it has been fairly turbulent for you.
It has, Shereen, certainly. But, you know, if you're in aviation, as you know, and if you're catching a flight, there is turbulence from time to time. That's just par for the course. I'd say more than that, 2023 has just been a super exciting year. You'll have ups and downs, and one just has to look through it. But the fact that here we are, 20 aircraft strong, with 2 more aircraft to be delivered within a matter of days, I think it just couldn't get better. And in terms of on-time performance, we're back, at number 2 last month, and for the first few days of December, we're squarely back at number 1 in terms of on-time performance for the month of December. So all in all, couldn't be happier with 2023.
Okay, so let's pick up on some of those things that you spoke to us about. You said 2 more aircraft will be added into the fleet over the next few days. So you hope to close this in December. So by the end of calendar year 2023, a fleet of 22?
That's correct. Yes, absolutely. In December, by the end of the calendar year, we'll close with a fleet of 22 aircraft. By March of this year, we should be close to 25, and we'll double our fleet by the end of the next fiscal.
Okay, let's then address the issue that did cause the turbulence, which you have managed to navigate through at this point in time. Route rationalization on account of the pilot-related issue that you saw, a matter that went to courts as well. Where do things now stand in terms of routes, in terms of connectivity, and in terms of the pilot shortage?
Yeah, so I'd say that, we're flying now about as much as we were flying, prior to the issue that we had. So that's behind us. We're back in growth mode. And in the month of January, we'll exceed the flying that we had, in July. We're excited with the international flying that's ahead of us. We've got a sufficient number of pilots. So if you look at the number of pilots we've got over 500 pilots today, with many more joining. Just to remind our viewers and you, Shereen, that we had about 340, 350 odd pilots in the month of April. So we've added, more than a third of pilots here in the last 6 months. And we've got enough pilots to fly more than double the fleet that we've got today. It's just that these pilots are in various stages of flying. So at Akasa, we're planning for growth multiple months from now. That's just because, that's what it takes to be able to execute the growth strategy that we have.
Well, speaking of the growth strategy, and let me labor on the international expansion that you alluded to. You are eligible. You believe that you have the fleet as well as the pilots. When do you start?
It's going to be a few months. We're hoping another 3 or 4 months. But we are dependent a little bit in terms of permissions we get from third party from foreign countries. So we've applied to Saudi Arabia. We've applied to Doha, Qatar, and to Kuwait. And we're waiting on those governments to give us the authorization to start. And that process might take just a few more months. So, I won't go out there with a specific date, but it's not that long. And the destinations that we're looking at are Doha, Kuwait, Riyadh, and Jeddah. And that's to begin with, by the way. We will be getting, multiple aircraft, as you know, all through the calendar year 24. So these are just the initial set of destinations for the first few months of the start of our international operation. But we're looking at flying to multiple places in the Middle East in addition to these, and multiple places all across Southeast Asia, including places like Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, the Maldives. These are all part of Akasa's network plan for the very near future.
Well, that's interesting. So would it be fair then, on the back of the information that you have at this point in time and the visibility that you have, to suggest that international operations could start in the first half of 2024 to those 4 international destinations as part of phase 1?
Absolutely. You've given me something I can say, an unequivocal yes, because you said the first half. I'm hoping it'll be in the early part of that, but yes. The first half, unequivocally, you should see us fly to these international destinations.
Okay, Vinay, since you are talking about your growth plans and your growth strategy, this will require capital. So what's the fundraising plan at this point in time? And also in terms of financials, where do things currently stand in terms of cash burn?
Yeah, so Shereen, international does not require any special kind of funding, so to speak. We've got the same aircraft that fly internationally as they do domestically. We've got the same crew. We've got the same airport customer service staff. We've got the same engineers, the same network planning team, etc. So the international does not require any kind of fundraise. If at all there was a requirement for a fundraise, it would be associated with our 3-digit aircraft order. And by the way, I can tell you that that's imminent as well. It might slip into January. We hope to close it by the end of the year. It might slip into January, which is not a big deal. Don't read anything into it, because that is going, extremely well. But even for that, Shereen, we don't need any new capital. So we will be announcing our 3-digit aircraft order, without requiring any more capital. In terms of, cash burn, like any airline in its early phase, it will take a little while before our cash burn slows down. But even that cash burn I'm talking about is at an operating level, not net cash burn. So what we've told people before, that we started with an initial pool of capital. Shereen, we have not spent 1 rupee of that initial capital, which means the cash burn that we're talking about is not net cash burn. In fact, we're net cash positive.
You said 3-digit order a few times, Vinay. I'm going to try and pin you down to what that could possibly mean. It could mean 100, it could mean 500. What are we talking about?
Yeah, it's not going to be 500, Shereen. It's not going to be 500. We are.
Yeah, I know. That was a joke.
Yeah. I'd say please, hold on. It's not going to be a long time before we announce it. And I'd say that it'll be hard to pry a different answer out of me at this point. I'd just say, please wait another few weeks.
So in January of 2024, we should know?
Yep, you will. Absolutely.
Okay. Since you said that you don't require cash at this point in time, what is the current arrangement with the Jhunjhunwala family? Are they happy to stay on as investors? Are they looking at divesting any stake at this point in time? Where do those conversations stand?
Yeah, so I will give you, my take on it based on my conversations with them. But of course, ultimately, Shereen, you can get the opportunity to ask them. I will say at this point in time, the Jhunjhunwala family are extremely, not just financially vested in Akasa, but emotionally vested in Akasa. This This was a big deal for the late and great, Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, right? He took a bet in Akasa. This was a big deal. Akasa is part of his legacy. And the Jhunjhunwala family is, absolutely not looking to divest. In fact, the Jhunjhunwala family is as committed to Akasa's success today as it was, multiple months ago. So that's, I hope that clarifies this, because this question comes up every few months. Rumors swirl every few months, and every few months I have to come, on air and tell people just how committed they are, and really what a pleasure it is from our side to actually work with the Jhunjhunwala family.
Okay, so now that that clarification is out on the air unequivocally from you, Vinay, let's really talk about, the strategy from here on. You talked about wanting to increase your market share. You're going to be adding fleet as well, and that would help in that effort, in that endeavor. What's the target that you've set for yourself?
Shereen, we don't have a market share target. And the reason we don't have a market share target is because we're growing about our growth strategy based on, the target cost structures that we have, which is to be India's cost leader, but also based on service excellence and the way we hope to really serve our customers. As you know, we've got USB ports, not on every aircraft today, but, over time we'll have them on every aircraft. Our seats, we believe, are more comfortable because we've spent, an extra inch of foam. We've changed the way food is looked at, in the industry, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And of course, the training that goes behind, our airport and in-flight service. So we are going about our business not based on a market share target, but based on what we think our growth target is. And by the way, our growth target is, you talked about 76 aircraft by the end, by mid of 2027 is the path that we have set on today. As we announce our 3-digit aircraft order in January, we will come out and lay out the plan for the aircraft delivery strategy all the way through the end of 2032. Because the next airplane order that we push is going to be between mid of 2027 and the end of 2032. So we'll be able to give you a plan of growth, through 2032 here very shortly. But for the moment, it's just focused on our growth and our customers and really satisfying our customers with the service excellence that Akasa has to offer.
Vinay, let me end by asking you, when we first spoke, when you were launching Akasa, one of the things that you were very clear about was not just the customer experience, but also the employee experience. Given what's happened with the pilots, with this matter moving to courts, the sort of not very nice exchange that you've had with your peer at Air India as well in the form of letters, what's been the big lesson? What's the course correction from here on?
So first, I'll say, Shereen, absolutely employee centricity is at the core and heart of everything we do at Akasa. And I will tell you that remains today. In terms of course correction, I will say, to be honest, part of the cost correction, what I thought was for the nation. And the order that was placed by the Delhi High Court, I think, was good for the country, not just us. Because, what we had spoken about, at Akasa from a long time is that, we've got rules that aren't necessarily need to be catered to one airline or the other, but have to be catered for the industry at large. And so from an employee perspective, very specifically, I can tell you that we haven't had any pilot resignations, not even one, since we had the ruling from the Delhi High Court. And so, at this point in time, our passion and our focus on employee centricity is just as high as it was when we spoke 1 year ago, if not higher. But this is something that obviously you're talking to the CEO of the company. You should go out there and talk to our employees, and I hope our employees will tell you exactly how employee centric we are.
Well, Vinay, thanks very much for joining us today and, taking us through what the flight path for Akasa Air looks like, not just in the near term, but also the medium and long term, and also some of the turbulence that you've managed to navigate your way out of. Appreciate you joining us. We wish you the very best of luck. We are going to slip into a break, but when we return, there's a lot more coming up for you here on the CNBC TV18 special broadcast as we fly into our 25th year.
CNBC TV18, embarking on a quarter century of excellence.